Javon Evans is going to the Elimination Chamber. Asuka is going to the Elimination Chamber. AJ Lee terrifies Becky Lynch. Is CM Punk putting the WrestleMania main event in jeopardy? This is the Raw recap on WWE Now, a WWE and Fanatics original production. Boy, oh boy, it is unpredictable. It is WrestleMania season. Just when we think we know what this road is going to look like, an OG cutter shows up and changes everything. Megan Morant, it is official. Javon Evans, and we had both, I think, locked in that our pick was Gunther, whether we liked it or not. The question is not, who do we want to win this thing? The question is, realistically, who's going to win this thing?
And that was Gunther.
We've been conditioned.
Inevitable, right?
Yeah, we've been conditioned. If Gunther's in the match, he's winning the match, except Gunther was in this match, and Gunther did not win this match.
Taken out by Rey Fenix. Good for Rey Fenix.
Dragon Lee, I think, took him out.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Dragon Lee. I mean, listen.
Good for Dragon Lee.
Well,
especially
I don't know.
After a couple weeks ago, what Gunther did to Dragon Lee.
No. Okay, all right. We have our first problem of the day. Dragon Lee had nothing. Dragon Lee put his nose into Gunther's business. Dragon Lee came out because he didn't like what Gunther had said about AJ Styles.
Or what he did to AJ Styles.
What, retire him?
Yes.
Well, listen. Gunther offered AJ Styles the opportunity to have the Gunther match at the Royal Rumble PLE under one condition. I've already beaten you once. Put your career on the line. AJ Styles decided to put his career on the line. This is an adult sport where people make adult decisions. AJ Lee did it. I'm sorry, AJ Styles did it.
We are all kinds of confused. We got Rey Fenix, AJ Lee, Dragon Lee.
All of them we will discuss later on. But AJ Styles put his career on the line. AJ Styles had his career ended by a guy named the Career Killer. What did you think was going to happen? Dragon Lee came out and he decided to get in Gunther's business. Gunther put him to sleep 6 feet off the ground and then dropped him.
It was horrifying.
Like a second. Well, guess what's going to happen when you come out and bother Gunther? And now...
So you're saying that he deserved it?
To get put to sleep?
Yeah.
1,000% I am saying he deserved it.
Strong
If you come out and you interrupt Gunther, and by the way, you don't interrupt him verbally. You know how Dragon Lee interrupted Gunther? By kicking him in the head. If you walk out and you kick Gunther in the head, odds are he's going to put you to sleep. Now listen, full credit to Dragon Lee, like you were saying. He did come out there and he did show up. He's not laying down. He's not letting that be the end of the story. He grabbed that ring bell. He jumped about 15 feet up in the air, and he landed plate first across the dome of Gunther. He cost Gunther an opportunity to be in that elimination chamber. Gunther, I feel like, had shaped out what this year was going to look like. And it comes right off of the John Cena retirement. And it starts with ending AJ Styles' career. And the next step is the Elimination Chamber because it leads to the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And Gunther thought that once that groundhog's prophecy had been filled and spring was officially here, that Gunther would be walking into the warm weather, the WWE Champion. And once Gunther is the WWE Champion, who's going to take it away from him?
No one.
Except we don't have to deal with that inevitability.
No, we don't, because thank you, Dragon Lee, for costing Gunther an opportunity at WrestleMania.
Okay,
now Gunther might not even make it to WrestleMania.
Oh, let me tell you something. Gunther not making, I think it's more likely that Dragon Lee doesn't make it to April than that Gunther doesn't make it to WrestleMania. Have you ever thought about that? Well, have you ever thought about that actions have consequences?
Yeah.
We learned this.
And Gunther learned that tonight.
Okay, well, guess what?
When he got the ring bell thrown right at his noggin.
Do you honestly, Megan, I know you're happy.
I'm thrilled.
I know you're in a state of bliss. You got your little Becky Lynch award. You got Gunther laid out. Everything is coming up Morant. I understand. Right. Can you honestly look at me in the face and don't tell me what you want. Tell me what you think. Do you think that Gunther, who has a timekeeper's bell imprint on his forehead right now, is going to go. Is that what you think?
It's so good to think about.
You're satisfied by that?
I am.
You are.
I really looked at that graphic heading into tonight and I went, oh, this is going to be Gunther. Oh, no.
You did.
And then I looked at everybody else in the elimination chamber and I go, oh, no, it's going to be Gunther. And I was having nightmares for weeks about how Gunther might end Randy Orton's career. I've been replaying that Royal Rumble elimination over and over. And then Gunther came here in the studio. We talked to him.
Yeah.
He was in Saudi Arabia. And you asked him about eliminating Randy. And he gave us that weird smirk and said, maybe, or I don't know.
Was that when he told you to get a life?
It was. I think it was after.
When he said
after that.
When he said, "What's her problem?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I am thrilled.
You looked at me tonight while we were watching Raw with like a tinge of bitterness when you said, "Oh, you love Gunther."
You do love Gunther.
But there is something I love about Gunther because I love.
You're a bad guy.
I'm not a bad guy. I'm a great man, but I love truth. I love justice. I think there is so little fairness in the world, but I love dependability. I love something that you can count on. I love that when the sun goes down, you know the sun's going to come back up. When tax season rolls around, I go, goody, goody gumdrops. That's how we know there are things that we can count on. Death and taxes and Gunther. And I go, somebody I can depend on. Somebody who's going to make a promise, and I go, that guy means exactly what he says.
You like consistent people.
I love consistency. I think consistent people are the best types of people on this planet. But I also love chutzpah. I love when somebody won't take no for an answer. I love somebody like Dragon Lee. The problem is that those stories always end up poorly in real life because real life is not a fairy tale. What did I tell you about all the fun and all the great stories and about all the happy endings, about all of it?
You told me that Gunther ruins them.
Yes. And guess what? Can you honestly, this is what I was getting at. Can you look at me in the face right now? And can you tell me not what you want, but what you think? You think with the imprint of that timekeeper's bell in his forehead, that Gunther's like, well, I deserve that, and I guess we'll just move forward after this? Or do you think Dragon Lee has a receipt that looks like when you're at CVS and it's the end of the month, and that thing just keeps printing and printing and printing and printing?
A lot of coupons.
I mean, the biggest receipt that you've ever seen in your life. Can you imagine? You embarrassed Gunther. You kicked him in the head that one time. Now you jumped up 200 feet in the air and came down with a ring bell on his head. And you cost him an opportunity in the elimination chamber. Doesn't matter what Gunther does. Once the elimination chamber is done, both of those title matches are spoken for. It ain't happening for anybody else, including Gunther. You don't think that Dragon Lee is going to pay dearly for what he did?
I will pay dearly for a security escort 24/7 for Dragon Lee. All right? Because I am concerned for his safety.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what happened when he interrupted Gunther.
Kicked him in the head, by the way. Was it just a interruption?
Yeah, but getting kicked in the head, it's not great. But getting kicked in the head didn't cost him a WrestleMania match. It didn't leave an imprint of a bell on his forehead.
Right. I see what you're saying.
I mean, he tried to, I guess you could say, humiliate Gunther. He didn't.
But this time.
He did.
And that means
trouble.
Yeah. Yes. I mean.
So I'm concerned for.
I think Dragon Lee is as good as retired. Dragon Lee should leave the mask in the ring next week and save himself a lot of heartache. Because the career killer, like Corey Graves so eloquently described him. I haven't seen color commentary like that since I watched Booker T on Tuesday. But Corey Graves saying that Gunther was like a vampire when it comes to these careers, that it gives him some kind of energy, an energy force. And guess what? If Dragon Lee wants to question that, maybe Gunther needs to retire Dragon Lee. Why are we only looking at people that might be, near retirement? I'd say anybody that messes with Gunther, he retires them. Watch out, Dragon Lee. Leave him in the ring. Take the mask and the boots off. Leave him in the ring next week. It'll save you. It'll save you.
It's kind of a tough day for you because not only do you love Gunther, but you also love Dominic Mysterio. He also lost.
To be fair, I love Javon Evans too. This is true.
It is true. You do.
I mean, I guess I just love wrestling. But
but I mean, Dragon Lee kind of saved Dom, because Gunther was picking up that hammer that is used to ring the bell.
Dom would have gotten out of it, I think. As a matter of fact,
You will never know.
if Dragon Lee hadn't interfered, Dom probably would have won.
There was a moment where I looked at you and said, is Dominic really going to win this thing?
When it was down to Javon Evans and Dominic Mysterio, after Dominic hit the 619, he goes up for the frog splash. And that's why I think he was midair with the frog splash. You go, is Dominic going to win this thing? But Javon Evans is too quick. Dominic misses the frog splash. Javon goes for that OG cutter, hits him 1, 2, 3. And you get that reaction from Memphis. And I think that reaction was similar around the world, where it was like, this is the thing that we wanted, but none of us thought was going to happen.
That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Javon Evans in the Elimination Chamber.
But you didn't think it was a possibility.
No,
Right.
not with Gunther.
Right. Or Dominic. 2 titles, by the way.
Mainly Gunther.
Okay, well, whatever. Whatever.
2 titles that he doesn't defend.
First of all, he does. He defends them plenty. He defends them plenty. But this is what you're looking at right
Last time
now.
he defended one?
What am I, a historian?
Yes,
This is what.
you are.
Well, I don't know. This is the graphic you're looking at, okay? This is like a legendary Elimination Chamber match. You got LA Knight, unchosen LA Knight,
Yeah.
who is, I mean, the fans' pick of all the fans' pick, the one guy who you talk about, a guy who just keeps going, who gets knocked down but will not stop. That's LA Knight. Randy Orton, who has been world champion so many times, and people are just waiting for that one more. Cody Rhodes, who I think people still can't believe is not the WWE champion right now. Cody Rhodes, who I think there are a lot of people surprised, including Cody Rhodes himself, that here we are mid-February, and he doesn't have a clear path to the main event of WrestleMania. For the first time since WrestleMania 38, when he returned, Cody Rhodes does not have a guaranteed ticket to the main event of WrestleMania, and that's what he's fighting for. And now you add to that field the young OG, Javon Evans. And can you imagine what an OG cutter is going to look like off the top of one of those chambers?
Wow.
I mean, I think, Javon Evans says that he's bouncy. I think that the Elimination Chamber is going to be the ultimate test.
Not ready for that type of bouncy.
Yeah, how bouncy is it?
I don't know if we've ever seen someone like Javon Evans in an Elimination Chamber. I don't know if we've ever seen someone like Javon Evans, period.
Yeah. I think that's right. That's the thing. Wherever you put Javon Evans, you're going to get something very, very unique.
And that's the thing throughout watching the match tonight. Javon does certain moves where we just look at each other.
Like,
what is happening? And then he does another one. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just an amazing, you don't understand how a human body can do those things and make it look like it's so sort of, I have no clue what I'm doing, but there's a level of chaos under this level of over, I would say probably this level of full, unbelievable control of where he's taking his body. Where every time he goes in there, like he was with Gunther, diving from the ring all the way to the outside, where it looks like this guy is completely out of control, but somehow lands directly on target every single time. It's remarkable.
I love it.
And I think we're going to see that inside the chamber. It's just going to be really interesting to see how this superstar, who I would call a kid, who's 21 years old, is going to be in there now with veterans like Cody Rhodes, like Randy Orton, with guys that have been trying to get this spot for almost as long as he's been alive. Like LA Knight. I mean, can you imagine LA Knight? Can you imagine as long as he's worked for this, as hard as he's worked for this, as long as it's taken him to get this opportunity, to look at a 21-year-old who's out here maybe being the one who's going to stop you? I mean, there is so much story just amongst the 4 that we know.
And not only that, but
that are
you think
going
about
in.
the year that Javon Evans has had, right?
Yes.
Making his way to the main roster, having the match at John Cena's retirement show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been crazy for Javon Evans.
And then going into the Royal Rumble for the first time, now going into the Elimination Chamber for the first time, potentially going to his first WrestleMania. This year, I think the amount of foundation that Javon Evans is getting this year is going to make him so good. I mean, I just don't know that there has ever been a WWE superstar that has had the opportunity to get all of this done at such a young age, so that by the time you get to 10 years down the road, when you're in your early 30s, you've got a foundation like nobody in the business has ever seen. To wrestle on this level when you are 21, and we've interviewed him before, to have the specific intention of being like, no, I'm in this wrestling thing for life. It's scary, the potential that Javon Evans has, if what we're getting now is only the very, very beginning.
I have to ask you, because you look at the Elimination Chamber graphic and who has secured their spots. One of them obviously is Randy Orton, and Randy Orton is somebody obviously much different than Javon.
Sure.
But he's somebody who knows all too well about what it's like to get those opportunities at such a young age.
He at one point was the youngest world heavyweight champion.
And we talked to Javon, and Javon has his eyes set on breaking that record.
Yes, he does. And you gotta, and that's a great point you bring up, because realistically, you know Randy doesn't want that broken.
No, who wants their own record broken?
You know Randy wants, as much as like that's in the past and Randy's looking forward, he wants to be able to say, yeah, I did something very few have been able to do. He doesn't want that broken.
I mean, this isn't even remotely close to anything in WWE, but I still hold the high school 2-mile record, and you better believe every couple years I make sure it's not broken.
That's right. I mean, listen, the only person who has had a major WWE career that has started before Javon Evans in terms of age is Dominic Mysterio, who at his age is already 20 years in the game, and look how good he is. He's got 2 titles, so that tells you something.
Of course, it always has to get brought back around to your guy, Dom.
He was involved in a ladder match with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, and he was like 8. I mean, what were you doing when you were 8?
Not that.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nope, not that.
You know? Dom was already achieving greatness.
What were you doing at 8?
Watching Dom. Watching Dominic Mysterio.
But wait, if you were 8.
I got to tell you about these shirts. Have you heard?
Exactly
Obafemi showed up on Monday Night Raw. He showed up on Smack. You're interrupting me. He showed up on SmackDown. And here's the bigger news. Obafemi merch is here. You can finally change that gross Becky shirt you've been
Not
wearing
gonna
every
change
single
it.
week. Obafemi merch is here. The Ruler shirt is available now at WWE Shop and Fanatics, and they have it cut in such a way that you can like strut just like he does as you're walking down the aisle at the grocery store, as you're walking into work, wherever you're going. And you know what? It looks a little silly when I do this in this like plaid, but if I had that Ruler shirt on,
Wow.
you'd be like, there he comes, the Ruler. And of course, WWE and Civil Regime are bringing the legends back. The new gear features bold designs celebrating icons like Triple H, HBK, and more. Don't miss out. Grab yours now at WWE Shop and Fanatics. That dude loved. They all look so cool. You got to pick them up. Now, speaking of Obafemi, he was on Raw. Do you have any inclination? Look, this is not only have we gotten a taste on Raw and SmackDown of how much these GMs want to sign Obafemi, but we've also gotten a taste of what on the roster might be waiting for him. On Friday, Nick Aldis showed a great deal of interest in Obafemi, so much so that he, which I don't think a general manager should do, he stole Kit Wilson's poetry book,
Diary.
his diary, right off that bookmark that Kit Wilson wears around his shoulder, which is really stylish.
Yeah, it's engraved and everything.
It's really cool. And he read Kit Wilson's poem to Obafemi, which wasn't overly flattering, but also maybe not overly false either. You see what I'm saying? Maybe Kit Wilson is waiting on SmackDown for Obafemi. At the same time, tonight on Raw, Adam Pearce showing great interest in Obafemi. Said that he made him a better deal. He doesn't know what Nick Aldis's deal was, but he knows his was better. I don't know how he could possibly know that, but it sounded like a used car salesman to me. But then Rusev is right there waiting for him. Meaning on SmackDown, he's got enemies like Kit Wilson, who is the topic, by the way. And on Raw, he's got enemies like Rusev. Do you have any inclination as to where this guy may sign?
I think that Rusev is very toxic.
You do?
Rusev?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, Oba also displays some toxic traits as well.
Okay, so it kind of, and forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, it kind of feels like you're skewing my question and turning it back around into let's just talk about Kit Wilson.
Well, he is the topic.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
He's the topic.
You're right. But you don't know where. I mean, listen. Wouldn't you rather share? Would you rather share a locker room with? Who would you rather have to fight if you're Obafemi?
Kit Wilson.
You'd rather fight Kit Wilson
Yes.
because you just want to be a part of the movement that's going on.
Just look at size alone, right?
Right.
Kit
Right.
Wilson's a smaller guy than Rusev.
Rusev's mean.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I could see
You get
that.
into the ring with Rusev before he even touches you, your chest hurts because you know those chops are
They're gonna
coming.
sting. They're gonna sting. Then he's gonna start kicking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see it. Although Oba loves a fight. Oba went to Raw a couple weeks ago and decided to take out 2 Vikings at the same time. So
Well, don't forget also when we saw Obafemi last have a match at John Cena. Well, we saw him in the Royal Rumble, but we
Yeah.
saw him at John Cena's retirement match.
Yep.
And he got interrupted by Drew McIntyre.
shove Drew
Who is
McIntyre
the
to the ground.
champion on
Smack-
SmackDown? Drew McIntyre. I'd like to see Oba on SmackDown.
You want Oba on SmackDown?
I do.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, we had CM Punk come out on Monday Night Raw. And CM Punk shows up and he makes a big deal. And I've got to tell you something. I do not like the narrative going into this. CM Punk talks about how the office is not happy about this main event. And this is my beef is not with CM Punk here. Because CM Punk is just talking about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But CM Punk is basically saying that the office is unhappy with this because it puts the main event of WrestleMania in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling me, the reason that the main event of WrestleMania would be put in jeopardy is because CM Punk might lose the title, right?
That's right.
If it's an easy win for CM Punk, no jeopardy, right?
Correct.
So the office, quote unquote, Adam Pearce mainly, doesn't want to give Finn Balor a title shot because he could win the title, which is the reason somebody is owed a title shot. The fact that the WrestleMania main event may be put in jeopardy is not the reason to not give Finn Balor a title shot. It's the reason to give Finn Balor a title shot. It's infuriating hearing how like there are suits that don't think that Finn Balor should get a shot at the title because he might win it. That's crazy. Can you imagine having to deal with that as a superstar? Be like, no, actually, if it were less likely that you were going to win, no problem. Because you wouldn't put the WrestleMania main event in jeopardy. But because this main event's going to be in jeopardy, we don't want to put you in the match.
Hey, the suits were all watching the match when Finn Balor reminded us all who Finn Balor is.
And they reminded him too.
Mm-hmm.
Or he reminded them.
And tonight when Finn Balor's music played in Memphis, Tennessee, the old school music, wow, the office has to be shaking in their boots.
Okay, but that's right. Michael, Dwight, Jim, all of them.
Pam.
Pam is terrified. Don't get me started on Kevin. But Oscars. I will say, and Luca is Luca's in there.
Beside himself.
Can I tell you something what Luca did? He dropped his mug.
Oh,
And he loves that
Not
mug.
that mug.
He loves that mug. But I'll tell you, that's a long running joke. I will tell you this. The old school music, yes, 1,000%. The spreading the arms out and everything. But then he came out with the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio had Finn Balor's back, which that's strong for Finn Balor. JD McDonough makes his return, is out there with Finn Balor, has Finn Balor's back.
and don't forget, just I think a week ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, Dominic said to Finn, look, man, I think they've moved on.
Yeah,
It's going to be Roman CM Punk.
because he was listening to The Office. Oh, we don't want to jeopardize the main event.
I was sort of surprised, I have to admit, to see Dominic Mysterio and I was surprised to see JD McDonough back,
Sure,
but I was
of course.
surprised to see them have Finn's back.
Because
Things
people
have
are
been
haters. They don't.
Well-
They act like the Judgment Day isn't the Judgment Day, and they've been doing that for years. They, meaning you. Go on.
Well, I mean, in fairness, if Dominic's really Finn's bro,
Of course.
why is he going to say to him, hey, man, I mean, I think they've moved on?
Because
Does he not believe in Finn?
No,
and then
it had
also
nothing, but
in
that's
fairness,
the whole point.
there's been
They've moved on.
tension.
It's they. It's they. It's not Finn. He never said, Finn, you can't do it.
No, he didn't say that.
He knows the environment that they're in.
But don't you want your bro pumping you up?
No,
Go figure it out, man.
No, because I have real friends that tell me the truth like Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's what I want.
You're
You know what I mean?
superior.
You know what I mean? I don't want friends that are going to tell me, yeah, you're going to win this marathon, when it's like, you're not going to win the marathon.
Well,
You know what I mean? You might get a better time. You're not going to win it.
come on.
You know what I mean?
There's only one winner.
You're not going to win. You might get a better time. You didn't win.
But in fairness to these haters
Right.
that don't believe in the Judgment Day, we're living in a world where Liv Morgan intentionally eliminated Raquel Rodriguez from the Royal Rumble.
Every lady for themselves in the Royal Rumble, isn't that right? Isn't that
Sure.
right? Aren't those the rules?
Yeah.
Come on. Why you a hater? They were all hanging out with Dominic at Valentine's Day, having a heart-shaped chicken nuggets.
They did look
Everybody's
pretty
friends.
happy.
See?
And they looked pretty happy today too.
That's right. Except there was a little moment when CM Punk, and I think this was brilliant psychology on the part of CM Punk. I think he was deep in the Judgment Day's kitchen tonight. When CM Punk goes straight up, go ahead. He turns his back to him and he says, jump me. You want to beat me down? Beat me down. I knew this was going to happen. Go ahead. Do the thing. It was Finn Balor that said, stop right there. Dom was ready to go.
Yeah, you took one of his belts off. I was like, he's gonna clock CM Punk in the head with that belt.
Yeah, like a Rottweiler, Dom.
Mm-hmm.
JD McDonough was ready to go too because CM Punk had said that thing about his big head, and they
Yeah,
were.
and the crowd was chanting bobblehead.
Can you imagine that your first night back on Raw, they're calling you bobblehead?
I mean, I can't, but it might hit a little close to home for you.
No, they wouldn't say that about me. Why would they say that about? Anyway, my head's a regular size. But anyway, Finn Balor, he stopped him. He said no. And I don't know. I mean, for me, I felt like CM Punk was trying to like get into Finn Balor's head, go, oh, don't you want to be the old Finn Balor? Don't you want to be? I mean, Finn Balor has had backup before. Finn Balor had backup in Japan. Finn Balor has had backup. There's nothing wrong with having backup. There's nothing wrong with having people that like you, that want to have your back, okay? The winners tell the stories. That's it. And CM Punk, I think, is protecting his World Heavyweight Championship. He's doing a pretty brilliant job. Finn Balor keeps the Judgment Day back. And CM Punk is able to walk off. And then we get backstage. They're trying to play 2K. Kane's on the TV. And Finn Balor is telling them, keep playing as Kane on 2K. I'm going to do this on my own. And I go, listen, if anybody's capable of doing it, it's Finn Balor. But I don't know why you would take any sort of advantage that you have and leave it at home. Just doesn't make sense to me.
He didn't exactly say it in a calm, we're all cool manner, though.
What do you mean? Why are you being a hater again?
I mean, he was tense. He was fired up.
Well, he just had an altercation with CM Punk, the World Heavyweight Champion.
So much so that Dominic looked around and he's like emotionally drained from the day, and he says, "And I still have a match tonight."
Yeah. Well, this is a highly emotional thing. You're talking about tippity top performance level athletes.
Of course.
On a Monday night. Of course, emotions are going to be high. That's just the way it is, okay? That's the way champions play, trust me. That's the level that they operate at. And you have to be able to compartmentalize and put that away, but that's why the Judgment Day has been able to survive. They all know what it is to be dealing with each other at these high emotional levels. I just don't know if I'm Finn Balor, why I'm having the Judgment Day step out. I don't know. Makes no
CM
sense
Punk
to me.
must have struck a chord.
He must have. And I'll tell you this. You're going to have the opportunity to strike a chord on your own. Hey, who knows? Maybe you'll be able to ask these superstars some of these questions yourself, because WWE World is returning to Las Vegas this April 16th through the 20th, and it's the can't miss destination during WrestleMania week. WWE World brings the WWE Universe closer than ever to the superstars, legends, and iconic moments that define WWE, with immersive exhibits, exclusive merchandise, and experiences you won't find anywhere else. Last year, they had the Heartbreak Hotel, the original Shawn Michaels Heartbreak Hotel. It was all there. It was amazing. You'll be able to see superstars like Drew McIntyre, Liv Morgan, Jey Uso, Dominic Mysterio,
There he is, your guy.
Tiffany Stratton, and many more, with even more appearances still to come. They've announced all kinds of legends, Stone Cold Steve Austin, a ton of them. Tickets are now on sale at WWEworld.com. You can save 10% with promo code WWENOW10. That's WWEworld.com. Save 10%, promo code WWENOW10. And Megan, I think it's time to continue to break some more of this down with our special guest here tonight on WWE Now. Yes, indeed, Big E joins us. E, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. I'm excited to talk to you all about all things Monday Night Raw.
Yes. Well, we were just talking about CM Punk and Finn Balor and the Judgment Day and everything, but that wasn't the only. First of all, there's something going on, because not only was that the only altercation in the Punk family that happened on Raw, but is there some kind of rivalry between Chicago and Ireland that I am unaware of? Because for some reason, the two superstars that represent Chicago more than anyone else are going into Chicago, and the Irish have banded together with an all-time level of hate and animosity.
That they have. And you know, Becky has been open about her dating Finn back in the day, a long time ago, refers to Finn as her first love. So maybe she's going back into the Wayback Machine to find some allies, to destroy the Punk and AJ family. You might be onto something, actually.
There's something. There is something there, because we did see that AJ Lee coming back to Monday Night Raw again and grabbing that microphone and breaking down the fact that she wants to see what she's got as a singles superstar, somebody who hasn't had a singles match in over 10 years. And I think really wants to see what it's like to, in this era, go into WrestleMania as a champion, which I can completely understand. Becky Lynch comes out. She takes a severe objection to that, has the opportunity to punch AJ Lee in the face. AJ Lee goes back to, a little bit of that crazy AJ Lee that we all know and we all love very, very much, who's willing to let Becky Lynch have the first shot. And I mean, you can always tell when somebody is like, I'm going to pretend I'm going to let you have the first shot, but really it's a trick. And when somebody's like, oh, no, you can have the first shot because the second one is going to hurt so much worse. And that's where AJ was at. I think Becky read the situation because she retreated. She made us some weird excuse and then got absolutely out of there and out of Memphis. I don't fight in Memphis.
Well, first of all, I mean, you have to respect Becky Lynch. She is not just the greatest female wrestler of all time. She is also 11-time Bexy Award winner. So congratulations to Becky. It was a big night for her. A big day for her. Winning 11 Bexy Awards. That has never been done before by anyone. And then also, Sam, you've referred to
one has been done.
You have referred to Becky Lynch before as a nasty woman. I don't think we've seen that from Becky, even in the slightest. What was on display tonight was pure class and sophistication from Becky Lynch. She could have slapped AJ. She could have punched AJ. She didn't, because she's classy and sophisticated.
E, do you generally think that wrestling awards that are just doled out on the internet out of nowhere with very few people voting on them are something that anybody should take seriously in general?
I would question these awards. I do feel, though, I don't know if, Megan, you have disclosed your bias regarding these awards, because you were granted an award, which I want to say I think you were given that award because you have been biased, and you have been someone who you have stood on the pulpit, the Becky pulpit, and you have preached the gospel of Becky Lynch, whether she was right, whether she was wrong. You are a steadfast loyalist as well, and I think that's why you're getting the treatment you're getting. So I don't know if you're in a position to really question any of Becky's actions because of that bias.
Yeah, he's saying your critiques are valueless.
And I'm saying that you're spreading misinformation. I don't know how you could possibly say that me, sitting here right now, have a bias for Becky Lynch. Did
you not get an award? You got an award from Becky.
Sam also got an award. You also
I
got an
fail to
award.
see how it's
You're
an
being
award.
modest. Oh, so modest.
What was the name of the award? I didn't even pay attention. What was the name of the award that I was given? I wasn't happy about it.
I believe it was the Bexy Award for the best nickname.
Let's see these awards. Can we see
let's
these
take a
awards?
look. Yeah.
Do we have these awards that were doled out on the internet earlier today? Because I mean, again, my app mentions start to blow up. My Instagram, my Twitter, everything. It's harassment. It's annoying. It's a nuisance, is what it is. Yes, see, this is people have been saying I give great nicknames, and I agree. I don't know who's been saying that. Very proud of this one. The best nickname award for 2026 goes to Sam Scam Roberts.
It's a good one.
It's not a good one, and
Great.
it's inaccurate.
People love it.
Well, I can't speak to people. I can tell you how I feel about it.
I'm so sorry, Sam. I really feel like it's an affront to journalism. You know, she's trying to silence you in many ways. She's someone, obviously, she's a friend, but I have to call it how I see it. And I feel like this is an attempt for you not to use your voice. So keep speaking up, Sam. Keep doing
I
the right
appreciate
thing.
that. I appreciate that because sometimes I do feel like that. Like it's an attempt to discredit me so that
All right, enough
whatever.
about you.
Oh,
Let's see my award.
I didn't realize.
Enough.
That's,
It's fine when you do it for Dominic.
what are you talking about?
Oh, the next Bexy Award goes
First
to
of all, look at
the
that.
most unbiased and best media personality in the world. Congratulations, Megan Morant, for winning Best Media Personality.
I mean, they used a cornball picture too.
Cornball.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that goofball smile on your face. Hey, I'm the media personality of the year.
Best in the world.
Apparently.
Wow.
Apparently. You're wearing, I mean, and she's sitting here saying, I don't see how you could say I have bias. She's wearing the shirt. It's a
Wearing a Becky shirt. It's
She's
a great
wearing a
shirt.
Becky
Don't get me
shirt.
wrong.
It's a new one.
But yeah, you are. Is she paying you? Are you on the take?
No, I bought this with my own money. Like I didn't even reach out to the company and be like, hey, can I get some shirts for the show? No, like I paid
sucker.
cold hard cash for this one. I just really believe in everything that she's doing and the movement that she's pushing forward. So, look, I mean, you guys don't have to agree with me, but that's the way I see it. Okay.
I mean, I can't imagine how it would feel for you to see, after 10 years plus without a singles match, AJ Lee walking into Elimination Chamber in Chicago and getting that Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that would be huge, man. Just her being back, especially in Chicago, her not new, I guess it's been her hometown for quite some time. But seeing her in Chicago, getting the reception against arguably the greatest of all time, regardless of the Becky spin or not, truly one of the best to ever do it. I am so excited for this match. I think the build is going to continue to be incredible. But I think I love that AJ talked about how much she's influenced wrestling, the women's division. And she is right in many ways in that the landscape of the women's division looks so different even when she left 10 years ago than it does now. And the pool is so much deeper. There are so many. We talk about the women's division all the time, and how I think oftentimes like the men need to catch up because the women are lapping y'all. The women's division is so deep, and for her to really make a statement that she's here, and not just a novelty act, not just someone who's here to remind you that she was around for a little bit, but someone who is here to win titles, to climb to the top of the division again. This match at Elimination Chamber is really massively important for AJ. So I'm going to be glued to that one. I'm really excited. I feel like it's a great opportunity for her to stake her claim in the division and show she's truly going to be a player. Because you start to wonder, like, okay, when AJ announced that she was signed, are we going to see her every week? And we spent a few months really not seeing much of her. But now with WrestleMania season really heating up, we see her in the thick of things. So I'm really excited about what we're going to see in Chicago.
And with all the circus and carnival-like antics of Becky Lynch, you almost forget for a second that this is a super fight. This is a dream match. This is a massive, massive moment for fans, for AJ Lee, for Becky Lynch to get to see Becky Lynch at this point in her career versus AJ Lee at this point in her career. Two of the best going at it for a title that, you know, a couple of years ago didn't even exist, was something that people wanted for that division. I think that this is a much bigger match than people realize, and part of that is because Becky Lynch is a walking distraction.
Well, and throw all the hate you want, but
That's not.
this title did exist, and then Becky became the women's Intercontinental Champion, and she's elevated this title to another level.
Yeah, look, it's an important
absolutely.
title. It's an important title.
Yeah. And I agree. I think what Becky's done, the lineage of this title, Becky has done so much incredible work to make this title meaningful. When we have new titles, it really is about the way it's introduced. It's about the people who hold it. It's about the rivalries we see. And this thing has been hot, I feel like, from day one. What we got to see with Lyra, what we got to see with just everyone who's held it and competed for it, even seeing like Maxine step up and have her best performances holding this title and competing for it. Honestly, I think this is my favorite mid-card title right now. It almost feels disrespectful to call it a mid-card title because we're seeing so many future Hall of Famers hold it, so many all-time greats hold it. And I do think Becky, if you pick out one singular superstar who has elevated this title, it's clearly Becky Lynch.
There's 4 matches right now on this show, and one of them is a women's Intercontinental Championship match. That kind of tells you what the importance of this thing is. AJ Lee coming back to the WWE for this singles match. She didn't enter the Royal Rumble. She didn't go after the Elimination Chamber. She came for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and she could have probably had her pick of the litter, and that's what she went for. So I think it says a lot. When you're talking about women and you're talking about championships, though, we also had this altercation with Michael Cole there. Again, second week in a row, Michael Cole tries to interview CM Punk last week. Here comes Finn Balor. All hell breaks loose. This week, Michael Cole tries to interview Liv Morgan. Stephanie Vaquer shows up. All hell breaks loose, but in a different way, on a much more emotional way, where Stephanie Vaquer, I feel like, got right into Liv Morgan's face. And it was almost like we got the translations here. Dominic, multifaceted that incredible performer is. Dominic was there to translate for her. But Stephanie was basically saying to Liv, you've sacrificed nothing. WWE gave you everything. You started your career here. You were given the best trainers, the best medical. You were given everything. You want to talk about sacrifice? You want to talk about sacrifice. I was born in Chile, a country where wrestling doesn't exist. And now I've traveled all over the world. Japan, Mexico, Latin America, Europe. I've conquered everything. Everything. I should be ashamed to hide behind Judgment Day, to hide behind a man. You need to hide behind your boyfriend, but I'm going to tell you something. I went through hell and made it mine just to get to WWE to be champion. This title to me means more than just a title. It's for all the little girls, all the women who never got the opportunity but succeed anyway. Liv, if you pick me, you won't win. Because I'm going to show you what a real champion is. Which them's is fighting words. Those, and that's serious, and that's real too.
It is.
Right? That's where that line goes from we're telling stories to no. This is, the story that I'm telling is my story, the story of my life. This is what you're dealing with here. This isn't fun and games for me. And, Liv, obviously, leaves this interview in tears. It hits, unless it's some kind of mind game and performance on the part of Liv Morgan, which is always possible. She ends this thing in tears. Dominic is trying to console her. Liv has still not chosen who her WrestleMania opponent is going to be. Do you think that this makes Stephanie Vaquer a more likely candidate? Or do you think that this is one where Liv stays clear?
I think it's personal now. It's really personal. I love Stephanie's boldness. I love that she talked about coming up in Chile and trying to make it and how tough that road was. But this is for me, this has got to be the WrestleMania match. This is it. This is the title match. This is the one I'm so invested in this. Liv and Jade would be a lot of fun as well. But I'm here for this. I need to see this pay off on the grandest stage of them all. And I will say, not to take anything away from Stephanie, but I will say, as far as Liv being handed anything, if you know her story, if you saw her rise in NXT, a lot of people, there was time where people were calling her a Carmella knockoff, where she was trying to find her footing in NXT. In many ways, she was an afterthought. She comes up on the main roster with Riot Squad, and she's not plummeted right to the top. She isn't skyrocketed to the top of the division. She is someone who worked very hard. She put in time at the dungeon as well, working out at Natty and TJ's, trying to get better. So, and not to take anything away from Stephanie and her story and how hard she's worked coming from Chile to make it so big and to become a champion here in WWE. But I also don't want to discredit Liv. You could talk a lot about her hiding behind Dom and the Judgment Day and a lot of the more questionable tactics that she's been up to recently. But she's someone who's worked very hard to be in this position. She's someone who has grinded, who has dealt with a lot of no's, a lot of rejection, a lot of you're not good enough, you're not this enough. So let's not take away from Liv in that regard. But I'm truly, like I said, for me, this is the match that I need to see. I am excited for what we have about a couple months left for this thing to continue to stay on the stove and heat up, and for all those ingredients in the pot to start to simmer and boil. But man, it's already a hell of a gumbo. It's already a great dish that we're about to be served. But I'm truly excited for this one.
And you could really tell that Stephanie Vauquer's words struck a chord with Liv Morgan, because we haven't seen this version of Liv Morgan get that level of emotional. I mean, when we saw her on SmackDown and, she was standing there having her Valentine's Day party with Dominic Mysterio and Raquel was there kind
Very
of
romantic.
acting as the bodyguard. I was so amazed by the confidence that Liv had standing there, going nose to nose with Jade Cargill. Now, obviously Raquel stepped in the way and kind of made some space, but you look at Jade Cargill and she's so imposing, and you look at what she's done to other women that she's been in the ring with, and just the confidence that Liv Morgan has. And then today on Monday Night Raw, Liv Morgan is brought to tears. We haven't seen her get that level of emotional in a long, long time.
But I think, too, a plate full of heart-shaped chicken nugs is going to give you a level of confidence.
It's true.
When
And
you
some
have
Dom.
Yeah. When you-
Not just the person, the champagne.
That's right. A little Dom, too. I think for sure. But to go back to kind of what Stephanie was saying to Liv Morgan and your reaction to that, you got a pretty unique perspective, right? You came into WWE taking your own road, and I think WWE is a very unique place, more so than the wrestling industry has been historically, in the sense that you have a lot of people who come in a lot of different ways. You have somebody like Liv Morgan, who kind of came in a more like, okay, you're going to spend years in our developmental system. We're going to train you from the ground up. Whereas a Stephanie Vauquer comes in and travels the world before she even gets to sniff what WWE has to offer. When you go back to your days as a WWE superstar, you rised up the ranks as far as one can rise. You were the WWE champion, but at the same time, you didn't come in with a massive professional wrestling pedigree, and you came in at the same time that there were people, the Finn Balor's of the world, the whoever, the Kevin Owenses of the world, who came in having to make the towns, having to prove themselves as professional wrestlers for years before they even sniffed. When you were in that locker room, was that an insecurity of yours, or did you kind of take umbrage with the idea that you had your own sacrifices and that maybe they weren't being respected by people who thought there was only one way to get to the top?
No, I think initially there definitely is that feeling of insecurity, because you're like you said, you're sharing a locker room. There are some guys who told me, like, I'd spent 10 years trying to get here, trying to get to developmental, not even the main roster. Like, I've been on the independent scene for a decade, putting my body through God knows what, oftentimes not making a ton of money, having to travel 400, 500 miles to maybe get an opportunity on a show. So I don't want to ever discredit anyone like Stephanie, who has really known that this is what they want to do and has gone out on the indies, has traveled the world just to try to get to the grand stage. So I will never say that my rise was as difficult as theirs was. And I think the same thing for Liv. There are a lot of people who had to go through a lot more to get where Liv is, but that doesn't mean she was handed a golden ticket by any means. She's someone who had to work very hard. And just because you have no experience when you get signed to WWE, that doesn't mean it's a breeze. You still have to adjust. You have to learn the culture, even the behind the scenes stuff of how to handle yourself, how to carry yourself, how to deal with the politics of the locker room. There's a lot of that. And I didn't spend, Liv wasn't in FCW when I was, but I got to watch as I was coming up, seeing her in NXT and seeing her run and seeing her rise. So I know she's someone where you can argue that other people had harder roads to getting to the main roster and getting to WWE, but by no means was she just gifted this opportunity and handed everything. And maybe things got a little bit easier along the way for her, but I know she worked incredibly hard, and I know she's someone that's deserving of this opportunity. Now, you could take a lot of umbrage with the way she decides to move with the Judgment Day and with Dom currently, but let's take nothing away from her and her journey.
And, you know, people are going to be jealous when you have the coolest boyfriend ever. But speaking of superstars, the world's #1 sports fan festival, Fanatics Fest, is making its return to New York City. Yes, Fanatics is bringing you closer to the leagues, teams, and superstars that you love across four action-packed days in July. Meet your favorite WWE superstars like Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Liv Morgan, Jey Uso, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Randy Orton, Stephanie Vaquer, Tiffany Stratton, and Bianca Belair. They'll all be in attendance, as well as big names across sports like WWE superfan Cam Scatabo. You'll also be able to get your hands on exclusive merch and catch live WWE podcasts. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com. Use code WWE now for 10% off at checkout. Now, the question on everybody's mind. A wise man once said, if you come out of a box, you're automatically over. The question is, a crate was delivered to WWE. It said you cannot open it until 2/28, the date of the Elimination Chamber. And Adam Pearce said, I don't want to deal with it. Send it to Nick Aldis on SmackDown. I think the word who is a little too presumptuous for me. You could be dealing with a what that's in that box as well. I think anybody that has any type of historical lens knows that there could be a giant human turkey hybrid that busts out of there. It could be a new mascot for the WWE, like the Gobbledygooker. You know what I mean? It could be an egg in there. It could be Chainsaw Charlie. I mean, who's to say? When I look at that, and you wonder too, could the Grandes have anything to do with it? Maybe it's another Grande. Maybe it's another 7 Grande Americanos that are locked up in that crate. I mean, does that? Do you have any idea on God's earth, Big E, as to what that crate could be?
Well, I'm with you on, like, let's not dismiss this being a what instead of a who,
right.
because I need some more. I need help with the logistics of this. If there is a person in there or a living thing, are they allowed like an opportunity for an hour to get some exercise? Is there a hole in there for air or for food or for water? How are they using the restroom? If a person emerges from that box, I need the whole I need a long explanation about what they did. I want a journal, a diary of sorts. Maybe there's a little camera we can place in there, because I have a lot of questions. So I'm leaning towards the what, because transporting people in crates is not ideal. It's not a good idea, and that there are many days left until the end of February. Many days.
You would have to believe today is not the first day in the crate, and plus it just says delivered to WWE. I'm surprised it would end up here in Stamford or something like that. It just goes from arena to arena. But you're right, E. If it's a who, that's 2 full weeks, 14 days. Inside that box, that's a Valentine's Day. Probably you would think they would have to pack up by Saturday, probably missing Valentine's Day with a loved one. Who knows what else is going down in those 2 weeks. I'm sure that there is a much more speedy, maybe even more affordable method of transportation than just going building to building in a giant crate for 2 full weeks. I mean, maybe it is a what? Maybe it's that greatest wrestler that ever lived trophy that used to exist a long time ago.
Right.
You know?
And can you imagine the stench? If that's a human in there for 2 weeks,
Oh, you're
you
right.
you don't want them in a ring. You don't want them anywhere near you. 2 weeks with no shower?
No,
You're not brushing your teeth?
Oh God, the breath. Just think of the breath, and you have that dry mouth too.
Oh, the dry mouth is terrible. Real
Terrible. Terrible.
I hope it's a what?
I really hope it's a what now, and God forbid it's a poor animal in there. Can you imagine?
Stop. That's just sad.
No, I don't want
Yeah,
that at
very
all.
sad.
That was
Very
screwed
sad.
up. Why'd you go there?
Well, if it's an
Why'd
animal,
you
well,
have to
because
take
I don't know
that?
what's in that crate. It could be anything.
Have to bring up.
It could be anything. You know, I don't know. It could be hornswoggle in there for all I know.
It's a little tall for hornswoggle. You're wasting a lot of crate if it's hornswoggle.
You're right, but maybe
That could've
there's
been
it could be a second story. You know,
Oh, a place for him to sleep.
yeah, a little
Okay, cool,
duplex.
cool, cool.
It could be a
Yeah,
duplex
I like
inside
it.
that crate for Hornswoggle. Yeah. No, I think it's. But also, you know what struck me was Adam Pearce not being remotely sort of moved by it. He was just kind of like, I don't know, send it to SmackDown. I don't know what it
He's
is.
stressed. He's a
Yeah.
very stressed man. He doesn't really have it's like let me deal with the one thing that I have to deal with right now. So I can understand that.
He's
Yeah.
got Masked Man. He's got
Oh, I forgot
Paul
about the Masked
Heyman.
Man, yeah.
He's got the Vision.
He's stuck in this never-ending game of FAFO.
That's right.
You know, he's winning, but still, you're right. It's got to be very stressful. Well, at some point, hopefully, whatever and whoever and why ever is in that crate is, well, I just hope it's safe. But WWE fans, where else can you experience the thrill and excitement of ripping Topps card packs with the instant gratification of having your collection conveniently on your phone?
Wow.
Yes. WWE Slam by Topps offers fans around the world the chance to collect and trade their favorite WWE superstars, rip new digital packs every day, complete collector-based missions and seasons, and combine cards to craft them into rarer digital collectibles. The app even offers in-app challenges where you can win Topps WWE hobby boxes, full cases, graded cards, and more just by ripping digital packs. Here's your chance to build the ultimate Topps WWE digital collection, featuring iconic Topps designs, original artwork, motion cards, and more. WWE Slam by Topps. Download free now in the App Store and Google Play. And speaking of cards, I can't imagine the pace and the emotional highs and lows that some people live their lives at. I need, I like a high and a low and to experience all that is in life, but I need pockets of peace too. I need calm. I need this. And the idea of living the type of life where one day you are selling a single Pokemon card for $16.5 million, $16.5 million, and not 48 hours later, you're getting stomped on Michael Cole's table by a masked man. I just don't understand the life that Logan Paul is living right now. I mean, on some level, as difficult as it is to give that man any respect, no matter whether he deserves it or not, is a different question. He makes it very difficult to give him any respect. But can you imagine 2 nights after you sell a $16 million card, you're back to work and you're getting stomped on the table, and you're not just like, you know what? I'm done. If I had 16.5, I don't know if you guys would ever see me again.
You make a good point.
You know?
Yeah, like I would never tell
Yeah.
anybody I made that money, but there would definitely be signs. And not
Yes,
showing up to
right.
work would be one of them.
Life comes at you fast. It comes at you real fast. And shout out to Tyler Breeze, who put me on to the world of not just trading cards, but Pokemon. Several years ago, I had no idea that the market was this lucrative. And my God, is it? That is a number that I didn't think was possible for any. I thought, the old Honus Wagner? Like that
Yeah.
for me, I thought that was the standard for cards. Little and apparently, and I don't remember what that went for, but this one is ridiculous.
Yeah, it toppled it. It's the highest anybody's ever paid for a single card. But then here we are. 2 nights later, he can figure out how to sell a card for $16.5 million. He has no idea who this masked man is that keeps stomping his head into stuff. I mean, unbelievable. At least we know for sure that he is not the masked man.
And there was a while where At least I thought.
I thought he was. I thought at the Rumble, I thought Logan Paul was the masked man. Now I don't.
Really?
I did.
Yeah,
at the
did.
Royal Rumble,
I
I
did
thought Logan Paul was the masked man. I thought he was being selfish. I thought he was getting Braun Breaker out. I thought he was going to try to position himself to win the thing. And then here we are a few weeks later. He's getting his head stomped into Michael Cole's table.
Because I'm still getting used to the fact that Logan Paul is a full timer. I mean, argue it if you want. It's getting very difficult to argue.
You can't argue it.
But when Logan Paul said before the Royal Rumble, backstage to all the Vision members, we got to work together as a team and we're all going to help Braun Breaker. That was very out of character for a selfish Logan Paul. So when this masked man appeared and took Braun out of the Royal Rumble, I thought, it's got to be Logan Paul. It's not.
But knowing Logan is someone though who wants all the credit. You know, I can't imagine him.
It's true.
The idea of him, even if they're like, okay, I'll reveal after a month. The idea of him sitting on that and not letting the whole world know that he was up to it, I don't know if he's not built like that.
That's a great point. He needs to brag about everything immediately.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I keep thinking about the locker room or potential free agents. And unless this is a Seth Rollins who was returned earlier than any of us could have imagined, I'm not sure who this could be.
Megan thinks it's Tom Brady.
Well, it was like a gimmick for the radio show.
She thinks it's
Sirius.
Tom Brady.
No,
I heard her on the radio today. She
I
said
don't
it could
think
be
it's
Tom
Brady because I don't think Tom Brady's taking any bump. All right.
Well, maybe
and
he
just
thinks
for
he's
the
gonna
record,
win.
if it was Tom Brady, I'd be cheering for Logan Paul.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa.
Got it?
That
Wow.
Tampa move. That Tampa
That's
move
right.
messed you up.
That's
Really
right.
burned you, huh?
You know what? I don't have a
Burned
dog.
you.
I don't have a dog in the race. So what does it even matter?
Okay,
Okay.
I know what that means. I know. I understood that reference. How about this? Speaking of masked men, I want to know who's your Grande? Is it Grande original? Because I even think in WWE, I think the thought was that Grande original would come back and everybody across the board would just go, oh, he's the one. He's the beloved original Grande Americano. We don't like the other guy now, but depending on what show you watch and what town you're in AAA loves contemporary Grande Americano, and it feels as though America prefers original Grande Americano. Who do you think is the true Grande?
That is a great question. Here's my issue. You know, usually I root for the original, the guy who really started it off, the pioneer. But man, the second version, the contemporary version of Grande is super swaggy, man. He just got it. I'm sorry. He attacks a lot of my favorites, a lot of people I love and root for. But man's got style. And seeing him in Mexico, he is, like you said, he is truly beloved. It is really a sensation. I feel like we need to maybe like find a border town like El Paso or something, you know, something right along the border. That'll be, or Laredo, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that'll be your true marker. Let's have a match right on the border, and I feel like that'll give us the best determination of how the people feel. Because you're right, in America, the original is received much better. In Mexico, the contemporary is beloved. I enjoy them both. The original is super jacked, which I'm a big body guy, you know, I can't help it. I'm a meathead at heart as much as I try to run from it. So I love that. But contemporary Grande, he's got style, man, and it's undeniable.
I love that contemporary Grande is becoming a thing. I should have trademarked that. But I also will say that I think, too, in the traditions of lucha, they might be a little bit more comfortable with the idea of, okay, this character does get passed along to different athletes, because that is something that happens in lucha. I mean, we saw La Parka in the Royal Rumble just this year, and that is a character that's been passed down. Penta is a character that comes from a different Penta. Like, that is something that in Lucha Libre, like, there sometimes is a new person who has taken ownership of the identity, and that identity it becomes their own. And so when the original comes back, well, maybe it's not yours anymore. Maybe you let it slip through your fingertips, and now it belongs to this other Grande.
I didn't even think of that. I'm a big fan. Not that I'm not a fan of original, but I currently am identifying more with contemporary Grande.
Wow, that's huge.
Yep. And contemporary, I think online, contemporary Grande did talk about old Grande's use of AI And you know, as someone who is not a fan of AI and art, you know, that might be the tipping point for me. Look, this guy is out here, trying to save us from millions of gallons of water just being used for slop. You know?
No, that's
he's
true.
a hero. He is a hero.
That is true. You don't want the slop, but he's jacked.
He is jacked. You're right.
That's tough.
I love the term slop. I'm glad that it's.
That's tough.
It's a good term.
It's like when you got a big jack dude who's like contributing to slop.
Right.
It gets
I'm so
tough.
torn.
That's right.
I'm torn.
That's right. It's a real tug of war. Well, listen, we got a huge Raw already in store for next week based on what's announced. First of all, we have 2 more qualifiers for the Elimination Chamber. On the women's side, we have after tonight, Asuka, and then Alexa Bliss, Tiffany Stratton, and Rhea Ripley are in this thing. They're going to be joined by either Raquel Rodriguez, Io Sky, or Kairi Sane after next week. Real interesting because both Io Sky and Kairi Sane have tag team partners that are in this Elimination Chamber already. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. Do you have, Megan, do you have an early favorite?
I gotta go with EO.
It's hard not to ever go with Io.
Right?
E?
It's hard not to go with Io, but man, Raquel has had an incredible
true.
year.
true.
And if anyone can upset Io in this match, I think it's Raquel.
I was hoping we'd see some love for Raquel. And then over on the men's side, right now, after tonight, you've got Javon Evans with LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. They get joined by either Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, or the original El Grande Americano. Megan?
I think it's got to be Jey Uso, right?
Really?
Yeah. I
Ye-
mean, listen, it's been a year since he won the title at WrestleMania. It's been a year since he was the Royal Rumble winner. He's got to find his way back to WrestleMania, and this is how he does it, through the Elimination Chamber.
I think Jey Uso, his way back to WrestleMania is defending the tag team championship at WrestleMania, because I don't think there's any way either of those two guys are getting past Bronson Reed. Not on this planet. E?
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. As much as I love Jey Uso, stay off the shore because you're going to see a tsunami.
I love that. Ooh, that was so smooth. That was so smooth. And then, of course, massive night. We saw a video package play. We were wondering why it was playing. We have not heard or seen from this man except on the Stephanie McMahon podcast, What's Your Story, which for some people left more questions than answers. Next Monday night in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a tribute to AJ Styles. Who knows what that means? Hopefully that means he will be there. But if there was ever anybody that deserved a tribute on Monday Night Raw, I think a lot of people were wanting to see it in Philly the night after Royal Rumble. It was conspicuous by its absence, but Atlanta makes a lot of sense. AJ Styles tribute in Atlanta next Monday night. What do you make of this, E?
One of the greatest to ever do it. I'm so glad he's getting this send-off. I hope we get to see him one last time in a WWE ring. But so deserved, man. And the way he handled everything, so humble, so gracious. I'm really looking forward to this. And grab your Kleenex, man. It's probably going to be a little emotional.
Yeah. It's going to make me feel things that I haven't felt in a very long time. I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for the whole thing. E, we thank you so much for joining us on the show and helping us break down everything that needed breaking down. For Megan Morant, I am Sam Roberts. Don't forget to subscribe to WWE Now across all audio podcast platforms. Hit like, leave comments on YouTube, and we will see you next week, if not before, here on WWE Now.